time tonight. Oregon is off to their best start since the 1920s. And now their best player is back. Washington State is one of the country's biggest surprise teams, taking fans back to a time when Raveling and Elo roamed Friel Court. A Northwest showdown with the nation watching. Next on FSN.
The Palouse Cougar basketball has once again become a hot ticket. They had some overnight campers. By the time they opened the doors here at Beasley Coliseum, they were lined up across Stadium Way. And then at 5 o'clock, a couple of hours ago, what they call the running of the bulls. 5,000 students vying for the best places in the student section here along Friel Court. Now it's time to play basketball. Got a dandy for you tonight on FSN. And we welcome you into Friel Court in Pullman. I'm Brian Davis. So many freshmen and sophomores around the Pac-10 getting great attention for their play in the conference this year. This is a great example of what can happen, what great things can happen when teams keep the band together for a couple of years. The numbers tell the story, and significant, I think, for Oregon. They have 8 players who last year started 10 or more games, and so these two very experienced teams tonight meet here in Pullman. And this is a rivalry that is really starting to heat up because, Bob Weiss, there's a lot on the line. Oregon beaten by 12 in Seattle on Thursday night, but tonight they've got their leading scorer, Aaron Brooks, back in the lineup.
And what a difference he's going to make. He shoots 51% from the field, 57 in conference play from the three-point line. And he's got blazing speed. You can't stop him by yourself. You need a little help.
Brooks for the Ducks has been a late-game hero several times. 5 guys, all 5 starters for Oregon, average double figures. So good balance, same for Washington State. But as Brooks has for Oregon, Kyle Weaver's got a little bit of special about him for Washington State.
Kyle Weaver is one of those guys that does it all. And in competition in the conference, he's leading this team in steals, rebounds, assists, and scoring. So he is a guy that does everything.
The 2 surprise teams in the Pac-10 Conference tonight will battle, as a matter of fact, for a chance maybe to finish the weekend in first place. But this game will not be decided solely by Aaron Brooks or by Kyle Weaver. Bryce Taylor scares the Cougars. David Parmaling has had some big games for Washington State. Tip-off next in Pullman.
You're watching FSN Northwest.
There is a special bond we forge with animals. At Washington State University's College of Veterinary Medicine, it's a friend whose last hope is cutting-edge care, unlocking a painful secret, stopping cancer. When we place the most advanced veterinary medicine in the hands of world-class healers, the results can be miraculous.
They are a couple hundred seats shy of their 3rd sellout of the season here in Pullman, but we do have a full house for Washington State and Oregon. How big a surprise are these teams? The Pac-10 preseason media poll had the Ducks 4th after a 15-18 finish. They were 7-11 in Pac-10 play. Washington State picked for dead last after they finished 11-17 overall, 4-14 in the Pac-10. But where are they now? Depending on the outcome of tomorrow's game, UCLA and Stanford, the winner of this game could be in first place. That if the Cardinal knocks off the Bruins tomorrow in Stanford. Take a look at the starting lineup for the Ducks of Oregon. They shot 55% from the floor, but they turned the ball over 18 times. They were out-rebounded by 11. Washington went to the free throw line twice as many times. Ernie Kent says we got to fix that, particularly the rebounding. He's got an 11-game winning streak against Washington State. Certainly appreciates the revival here. Says this is a tough place to get your team motivated when there were only 2,000 people in the house. The Washington State Cougars 17-3 defeated Oregon State in here on Thursday night. All 5 starters played at least 31 minutes. Both conference losses by 3 points. Take a look at David Harmeling, 20 points against Gonzaga, 28 against Arizona for Tony Bennett, his first season after replacing his dad, Dick Bennett, as the Cougars head coach. One of the things that he has done, Bob, he has created an atmosphere of respect for the achievements that they've had this year, which are tremendous.
Yeah, they don't want to get a small head. He's not really sure how good this team is yet. He loves where he is right now. And, you know, they're just doing a lot with not that much talent. I think they're really overachieving as well as anyone.
Over on the Oregon side, Ernie Kent said earlier this weekend, I think my guys will realize later the toughness that they have developed. Again, before the loss at Seattle on Thursday, in which they did not have Aaron Brooks, the Pac-10's leading scorer. Their only other loss was to USC by a deuce, only 2 points on January the 4th. Then they rebounded to defeat then top-ranked UCLA on the weekend.
Well, he wants a rebound here again tonight, but you know, he was emphasizing how they got to keep the crowd out of it, how these players have to play through this loud crowd.
Now, you see him in the left-hand corner of your screen. Bryce Taylor, the junior out of Encino, California, had 19 points to lead the Ducks at Washington. Taylor is a guy who presents some problems, Tony Bennett thinks, for his guys. Some interesting matchup situations tonight. The Cougars gathering in the paint at their end of the floor before they go out and again trying to break Oregon's 11-game winning streak over them. Last year, Malik Hairston for Oregon knocked down a couple of three-point shots in the final 12 seconds, one with 4/10 of a second to go for a 2-point Ducks victory. And then the Cougars in Pac-10 play scored 30 points in the 30s 3 times, including their return to Eugene, where they were beaten 67-37. But, you know, Malik Hairston can't figure on that happening again, because Washington State will grind you into the floor still defensively. They're best in the Pac-10 at 58 points allowed a game, but their scoring is up 10 points to 68 a game.
They're definitely opening it up, and while they're still trying to maintain that defensive presence, and he's done a great job of blending those two characteristics.
Aaron Brooks, former state champion out of Franklin High School in Seattle, suspended for Thursday's game at Washington. And again, worth noting that depending on the outcome of tomorrow's game, UCLA at Stanford, if Stanford wins that game, the winner of this game here tonight will find himself in first place in the Pac-10. Here's Kyle Weaver, had the first triple-double in Washington State history, finding Calgill in the low post. Calgill trying to make the unselfish play to find Ivory Clark. Clark, the only senior in the regular rotation here out in New Orleans, Louisiana, 21 to shoot, ball out of bounds to the Cougars.
Yeah, they went after him with a double team. He tried to make the close-in pass. That's a tough one sometimes.
Marty Lunan, the leading rebounder in the conference, bothering Clark. Derek Lowe, 15 points a game, bang from 3 as Lowe. 8 points against Oregon State the other night, but he had 25 to 7 from 3, and a big victory over Washington here a week ago. Gets the Cougars started and brings the crowd to its feet.
Well, the crowd got into it pretty early.
Calgill with the block. Oregon, or rather Washington State, averages 5 blocks a game. Tawan Porter, the 5'6" freshman, gets it back with 5 to shoot, driving. Clark with the second block in the first minute of this ball game. David Harmeling can knock it down from 3. Weaver loses control, but Harmeling is right there, and the Cougars reset.
A lot of energy from both teams tonight. It's going to be an exciting game.
Low on the baseline. Clark. to Weaver. The long deuce for Kyle Weaver. Had that triple-double at Stanford. Take a look at Washington State's defense, particularly when it comes to blocking shots. One way that you can shake things loose, shake up the Cougars' defense, is to knock down the triple like Brooks just did.
That was an old throw it into the post, to run a split, and you can't let Brooks get that far away from you. Again, 57% from threes in conference play.
Porter has a notion to slash to the basket. Here's Lunan. They work the ball around to Hairston, who has missed 10 games this season because of a couple of different injuries. Always a little bit sore and always a little bit of a question mark. And Bryce Taylor got nothing. That was a tough shot. And Brooks cleans this one up. Tipped back down to low, and here comes Washington State. Cowgill working to post up Taylor. The ball loses control to Juan Porter.
That was good hands by Taylor.
Porter should be more effective tonight with Aaron Butcher on the floor, but not in this moment as he gets a little scrambly and loses control.
Well, Washington State's defense is so good at clogging things up and helping. It's tough to split a seam. You really got to be careful when you want to try and drive.
How about this for two teams that finished below 500 in the Pac-10 last year? They have a chance here tonight to finish the first half of conference play at 7-2. Weaver from three. Lunan his second rebound. Ooh. Porter thought about it from NBA range and a little bit beyond.
Yeah, and Weaver bit on it. That very seldom does he leave his feet.
Taylor slashing and gets everything but the shooter's roll. He'll go to the free throw line as Ivory Clark, the senior out of New Orleans, Louisiana, transfer from Dillard University and Midlands Community College, picks up his first personal. Did what he could, kept his feet moving, but never got square.
But that's a strong offensive drive. You know, when you get that guy on your shoulder, a lot of people can't continue to the hoop. They have to pull up when there's any kind of contact like that. But Taylor is very good at just forcing it, getting all the way to the hoop.
Taylor is an 80% free throw shooter. Oregon third in the Pac-10 at 80 points a game, and third also at the line at 74%. It's a team that has some explosive capability, twice having come back from 11 points down to win games this season.
Oregon made a little change, took Porter out, came in with a Gucci, trying to get a little bigger. A little more outside shooting.
Low draws the double team away, allowing room for the lay-in by Weaver.
Weaver is so solid. Just a great defensive player. That's the kind of guy you just love to have in your team because he does a little of everything, and he does most of it well. Only thing he's not really proficient at is the three-point shot. But he doesn't take any, so he doesn't hurt you that way.
Lunan working out of the double team. Hairston to Taylor. Good rotation. Washington State has out-rebounded Oregon here in the first 4.5 minutes. 5-3.
And Ivory Clark, that guy plays above the rim. That block he had before was terrific. That rebound there was not just one that came to you.
Ernie Kent is beside himself, and Jim Geron has just teed him up. He saw something. He wanted a 3-second call. He didn't get it, and he just exploded it. Just like Lorenzo Romar in Seattle on Thursday night, Bob. Do you think he took one for the team here?
Well, it could be. I think he's trying to juice those guys up, but he was a little close to getting a second one because it didn't slow him down much when he got that technical. He kept going after him, and he's still got to be careful. He's still doing it.
College basketball on FSN brought to you by Banner Bank, better ideas, better banking, and by Dodge. Grab life by the horns. Brian Davis and Bob Weiss at Freehold in Pullman. Washington State 3 of 6 to the floor. Oregon 1 of 6, in part, Bob, because they've found themselves at a block party.
Yeah, they have. There have been two great blocks here. You'll see this drive here. as Cowgill, you know, keeping good position. But this block right here, that's a layup. Ivory Clark comes from the weak side and takes that one away. That was a very athletic play, and that's why he's leading this team in blocks.
Cowgill bringing great energy tonight, and he's coming off a career-best games in terms of scoring. He had a double-double, 18 points and 11 rebounds on Thursday against Oregon State. You take a look at where he stands, also top 10 all-time in blocks as Derek Lowe, the junior from Honolulu, goes to the free throw line. 75% on Charity this year. And one of the things that has happened to Washington State is that Derek Lowe is healthy. Had problems with a broken bone in his foot for 2 years. Cost him 8 to 10 weeks at a shot. He's been healthy all the way, and there is no doubting the energy. You know, and Weaver may be the special guy, but Lowe is the player that stirs the drink. He's the star.
Yeah, he does a great job, and he's very fortunate because those foot injuries, they can stick with you sometimes and just sometimes end a career. There's so much pressure on the football.
Off the technical foul, and the free throws by Lowe. Washington State with a 4-point lead, 5 minutes in. Lowe thinks about driving on Brooks, kicks it out from the baseline, then gets it back. Good ball movement. Better hurry. Lowe will go for three again, and he's got it.
Brooks played tremendous defense there for 34 seconds, and then Lowe just takes a fadeaway three and sticks it.
He wants to get it back, but Lowe will not let him shoot it. Aaron Brooks got a little street fighter in him in that regard. Very mentally tough player who is playing more disciplined basketball and being more disciplined away from the court, and that has really helped Chamberlain Oguchi from the corner. Leaving for Lunin. Cowgill got a piece of another one.
That was good defense, folks. They stop penetration, they clock things well, end up blocking the shots.
Lowe off the screen. A high post from Cowgill. Fires another from three. It's 2 of 4 in the early going here tonight. Oguchi has replaced Tawan Porter in the Oregon lineup. Taylor loses control, and Ivory Clark is there to clean it up.
Tell you what, this is a strong defensive team.
I mentioned Oregon turning the ball over 18 times at Washington the other night. A couple here, giving Washington a chance to expand a 7-point lead. The turnaround jumper won't fall. Lunin averages just under 10 rebounds a game. He has 3. Nice move by Brooks. Count the basket plus the foul.
And you know what? Lewis done a very good job of containing him, but eventually speed's going to win out. What a move this was.
That's the second foul on Ivory Clark, and he's going to have to come out. Aaron Baino, the Australian. Aaron Baines checked that. Baino, I'm thinking of the former coach at UNLV. Baines, a sophomore from Cairns, Australia, where Ben Johnson, one of Tony Bennett's assistants, used to coach. Wonder if there's a connection there.
Longtime friend. You know, Brooks got in there so quick. Washington State usually has very good clog defense. Brooks got in there so quick nobody could come and help.
And off the 3-point play, it is a 4-point basketball game. Aaron Brooks last time in this building was 4 of 12 from the floor, but also had 7 assists, including the one on Hairston's prayer shot, the 3-pointer that won it for the Ducks. Keep trying to feed Lowe and give him some options off the weak side. Brooks to the baseline. Baines has a little trouble handling it. Coming away from basketball, Baines is called for the foul.
That was a tough pass to handle. Again, you're in traffic. You know, that's when you want those shooters to drift to their spots. When you drive under that basket, you either want a clean one to your big man or you've got to kick it out to a shooter.
Brooks with 6 points and the ball in his hand. Derek Lowe leads all. He's got 8 of Washington State's 12, and look at that for Brooks, a little bit long. Cowgill. Kyle Weaver started 10 games at the point as a freshman, so He's got some ability to run the offense. In fact, at 7 rebounds and 5 assists, leads Washington State, but the travel and the turnover.
Yeah, there was so much pressure there that, you know, as a big man, you're trying to get rid of that ball to a guard. He ended up pivoting out of the pressure, but he had already used his pivot foot, so it was a walk. Interesting matchup, too, with Taylor defending Cowgill.
Javon Catron substitutes. Nikola Koprivica on the floor for Washington State. Catron for Oregon. Taylor driving, battling for the rebound. Baines had him around the neck. This belongs to Oregon. Baines stepped on the line. That's the call from Bob Staffen. Take a look.
Or the ball might have hit his foot.
Look, bear hug, the love grip that Baines put on Taylor underneath the basket. Got away with one, quite frankly. Catron is fouled by Baines. And Bennett is going to have to go a little deeper into his bench as Baines has 2. And then he replaced Clark, has 2.
And Catron has a lot of mobility for a big guy. He can put the ball down and move. He's a pretty good passer, too.
Going to leave him on the floor. Inbounds pass is stolen by Weaver. Oregon tonight does have some options. Again, Adam Zahn, the big forwards, is out. Suffered a concussion in practice last week. He's missing his 2nd game. Ray Schaefer had a pretty good game for the Ducks in Seattle. And also tonight, Mitch Platt is back after playing only 3 minutes the other night after suffering a mouth injury. How about Koprivica, the Serbian, slashing to the basket to score?
And with great footwork. He made that basket because of the long 1-2 that you're allowed. Good footwork.
Oregon might need some of those long guys in there if Washington State keeps going to that well.
You know, you see a lot of Europeans that do that well. Do the 1-2. And another block.
And you know, it's interesting that you say that European style has now found its way into the American game.
Well, actually, it was in the American game. Kiki Vandeweghe, those guys, that's all they did was to penetrate with a long 1-2. But slowly, the American game has developed into the 2-foot takeoff, and you'll lose a lot of distance with that. But the Europeans are bringing it back.
Now Koprivica playing a little small ball and giving Washington State a 6-point lead mid-first in Pullman. Oregon is 1 up on one of the worst teams, the 10th ranked team in rebounding in the Pac-10. Stay tuned for FSN Live. After this game, we'll wrap up all the action from Field Court. Highlights from the Gonzaga-San Francisco game up in Spokane. Plus, find out what happened at Mariners Fan Fest earlier today. FSN Live after the game right here on FSN. Let's talk about that European style of play.
Well, here's watch when he catches this ball. He's going to catch it right there. Now, he's going to take one more step. If he had hopped, if he'd have come to a 2-foot stop and jump, he would have had no mobility. But because he took that one long step, which you're allowed, it enabled him to get around his defender.
And at the other end of the floor, Robbie Cowgill, you see on the right side of your screen, he's got one of Washington State's 4 blocked shots. Oregon is 2 of 11, 18% from the floor. This is a team that shoots 46% on the season, but as Koprivica backs up on defense, Taylor Richesti also on the floor for Washington State now. The Ducks have some work to do on their floor game.
Yeah, they should do. Not only 2 for 11, but then you got 8, they add the turnovers in. Tremendous defense so far.
Ray Schaefer, the 7-footer, battling Baines in the paint. Schaefer had 10 points at Seattle the other night. Baines got a hand on it. He's going to be called for a foul.
Well, the student body didn't like that call, and I'm not sure I agree with it either. I think they thought he doesn't look like a guy who's going to block a shot.
Yeah, I'll tell you where that starts, though. You saw in the corner of your screen, Koprivica didn't move his feet and allowed Taylor to blow by him. And that really put Baines in no man's land.
Yeah, those straight line drives, when you can hold your man up a little bit, rotators can get there.
when it's what we call a straight line drive where that guy just blows by you, sometimes it's tough for the big man to get there, the weak side. And especially when they drive as well as Taylor does.
Taylor averages 16 points a game on 53% shooting. Caleb Forrest, the sophomore from Pagosa Springs, Colorado, into the game. Taylor, though, comes in here better than 50% from the field. He is 0 for 3 from the field, but 4 for 4 from the line. Washington State.
Little delaying zone here after free throw. No double teams. They're not really trying to steal it. They're just trying to slow you down, take time off the clock. Then they fall back into a zone.
Rochestie, the transfer from Tulane University in New Orleans. Rochestie, Forrest, Calgill, Koprivica, and Weaver on the floor for Washington State. Hairston, Schaefer, Brooks, Porter.
You know, when you bobble a pass like that, you might as well pass it. That seems like such a tough shot. Guys, the percentage is just way down.
Taylor blocked again by Calgill. Saves it. Porter from 3. Count it. Juwan Porter started 2 for 2 from 3 the other night. Wound up kind of playing a little bit too fast for himself and wound up 2 for 7 from the floor. Or rather 4 from 10 from the floor, 2 for 7 from 3, but a big one there for the Ducks, a one-point game.
And they missed a little bit of a offensive loose ball foul there. That's what everybody was screaming about. Ended up in a 3.
Five to shoot. Weaver gets a step on Hairston. Rebound. Taylor and Koprivica battling out of bounds to Washington State. Cougars have a fresh 35 as Derek Lowe returns, replacing Kyle Weaver in the lineup. Nikola Koprivica out of Belgrade, Serbia, averages about 15 minutes a game. Shoots 40%. Gives great energy, though, for the Cougars. And Rochestie's got to hurry now. Forrest puts it on the floor, and Schaefer says, get it out of here. Rochestie to Calgill. Another long rebound. This one controlled by the Ducks. And in transition, they can get back so fast, can't they, Bob?
Well, that's one of the things that Tony Bennett was worried about, that they not only take opportunity breaks, they will fast break you when you score a basket. You've got to get back and get ready, because that shot can be up in under 4 seconds.
Rafe Schaefer got the elbow up. Ernie Kent having a word with his 7-footer. He's one of those guys we talked about at the beginning of the basketball game. We had 8 guys in this team who started 10 games or more. Schaefer is one of those. Lunin is back on the floor, so they're a little bit bigger with Lunin and Schaefer. Low, short, Brooks's rebound. Had a notion, great defensive play by Lowe, and then Hairston travels as he tries to split the double team.
I didn't see that travel. I saw him going. We'll take another look at it here.
Yeah. Did you see it the same way or no? Remember, we're not in the NBA here, Coach.
I don't care. When you do not establish a pivot foot until both hands go onto the ball. That's when your pivot foot is established. And I'd have to look at it again. It was really close.
Koprivica into a double team, tipped by Schaefer. Forrest cleans it up. Lowe has a moment. And to reach on the screen.
With a hairstyle, I get the feeling I'm watching Nash from last year when I watched Lou play.
Lunen's foul, second team foul against Oregon, so they have stayed out of trouble here tonight. That figured in against Washington. Had 26 free throws to 13 for the Ducks in Seattle on Thursday. Lowe left alone for just a moment. Has 3 3-point goals.
It really reminds me of Nash.
Schaefer on the elbow with Forrest. Here's Porter to Hairston along the baseline, and Koprivica is hurt. Long rebound. He's still down as Hairston scores, and Nikola Koprivica appeared to grab his knee, and you see him holding that right knee, and he went down as if he had been shot. So we'll take a look, see how the training and medical staff deal with this, and then return to Friel Court, where Washington State leads by 2. Freshman served Nikola Koprivica unable to put any weight on that right leg as he is helped off the floor. Let's take a look what happened as he tried to defend on Hairston. Look at the right knee plants.
Yeah, right there, he's already pulling it up. Before there was any contact, he was pulling that leg off the floor because it just buckled on him as he's trying to plant over here. Right there, he's already hurt it. He's bringing it up.
Hairston can certainly feel his pain. He's been limited to just 10 games, missed 5 with a groin injury and then 5 with a heel injury. Had 10 points on Thursday night, did Hairston at Washington, and we'll keep you updated on the status of Nikola Koprivica. Injury-free, Washington State has benefited from that. We'll have to see whether that changes here tonight with the injury to Koprivica.
Well, it's changed. We just don't know how serious.
Well, yeah, good point. That's exactly right.
He's not coming back tonight, I don't think.
Oregon D'ing it up. Hairston forces Calgill into a bad shot. Not sure where the Ducks are more dangerous, Bob, in transition or in the half court, which is what worried Tony Bennett. Nice feed. Brooks finding Hairston, and the finish.
Well, they're more dangerous in the transition game, but so far Washington State has made them play the half-court game. But that doesn't mean they're not good at that too.
5 offensive rebounds now for Oregon, 13 total to 9 for the Cougars. Here's Harmeling, short. Washington State 3 of 9 from 3, and Brooks. Rochester reached in and grabbed him as Brooks tried to split that double team.
And that was the transition game we were talking about right there. They come down, you get Brooks in an open court, and if somebody behind you doesn't tell you, here I am, send them to me, that's exactly what's going to happen, because you cannot stop him one-on-one on the open court.
What a quick step inside. Lowe is a terrific defender. We've seen him get back a couple times. Brooks kind of rope-a-doped him. Let up just a little bit, and then when Lowe relaxed, he just blew right past him.
Well, what you're trying to do in a situation like that, when you're coming down the floor, you want your bigs to communicate with the guard. He's got his back to you. He cannot see where the defensive help is. And in transition, it can be anywhere. So if you yell, send him this way, now all of a sudden, you know, you can direct him rather than trying to stop him, which is impossible.
Loose ball foul. Over the back on the rebound, or was that a lane violation?
He said violation as he ran by us. I think he has aspirations to be a announcer. So.
Kyle Weaver with a finish on a little TOJ turnaround jumper. Calgill is really having a pretty special first half, and Harmeling pays it off in transition.
Back.
Oregon is one Cougar foul away from going to the 1-and-1 bonus, and Brooks gets the bump, and we're staying right here. I think Calgill is going to be called for the foul, and it's one. No, Lowe is called for the foul, and Brooks will go to the free throw line.
Aaron Brooks on the line.
There's a deficiency on this Washington State team. It's that they've got 3 key guys that if they get in foul trouble, it really affects this team. So Weaver, Calgill, or Lowe gets in trouble, they're hard to replace.
Brooks 18 points and change a game, leads the Pac-10. Last year, he averaged 10 points a game. His numbers are up all the way across the board, 87% from the line. And it's back to a 1-point margin as Matthews, the sophomore from Washington, D.C., Chris Matthews, triggers long. The 3-ball is going away now from Washington State. Oregon has a chance to take its first lead of the night. Offensive foul finishes that. As Weaver did a terrific job of setting his feet and taking the charge.
You know, except for the scoring, I can really get the feeling I'm watching Nate McMillan when he was young, because he's that type of ball player. He doesn't look terrific with the ball. He's fifth in the assist to turnover ratio in the Pac-10.
He's taken 6 charges too. They keep track of that here at Washington State. Number 6 leads the Cougars.
And he leads them in steals.
What I want to know is how they get up in your shirt the way they do without committing more fouls than they have. Matthews is a little bit long as he tries to shoot it over Porter.
Well, they can get up in your shirt because they play very good help defense off the ball. See how Weaver stepped in there just enough to stop Porter. Then he gets back and gets him back to his old man.
Brooks triggering from the corner. And Oregon has on that 3-point goal its first lead of the night.
Brooks says, yeah, go ahead and play good defense. Stop this one. Bam.
4 minutes now remaining in the first half. The Ducks with that 2-point lead. Lowe brings them back into a tie. Weaver with the steal. Matthews with a chance in transition, but Lunan is back, and Matthews scores underneath him.
I did not think he was going to make that shot over Lunan. He got too close. He squeezed it in. I don't know how.
Played a very tough league, the Beltway Conference in the Baltimore-Washington area out east. Probably saw a few guys who had game out there. Washington State playing a man, but it looks an awful lot, Bob, like a zone, doesn't it?
Well, a good man-to-man does look like a zone.
But that's the way you break that zone. Taylor for the jam.
Well, Weaver was helping out and turned his head on his man to see where the ball was. And it was a nice cut to the baseline. And you had a good passing big man. That's what results.
Catron did a nice job of knocking the ball away and then committed the personal foul. Aaron Brooks is back. He has 12 points tonight for Oregon. And he has helped the Ducks tie this game. Tony Bennett working on a play here as we get under the 3-minute mark of the first half. Aaron Brooks with a dozen for Oregon. He is a big-time player, a state champion at Franklin High School in Seattle. Watch him go to work in a championship game his final season against Adam Morrison and Meade High School of Spokane. 39 points in that championship game. Look at that shot right there.
You think he enjoys playing basketball?
Oh, I think just a little bit, although it was very frustrating for him the other night as Oregon fell behind. And he told us yesterday he nearly turned the basketball game off as he sat at his aunt's house and served his suspension. Something made him come back and turn the TV back on, and the Ducks in the end just didn't have enough without him at Washington. It says he sent Tawan Porter a text message at halftime saying, hey, pick it up on the defensive end, would you? Speaking of picking it up, how about Lowe, who now has a game-high 16 points. One of the things, they've been badly out-rebounded, but they have 9 points off of turnovers, and Oregon has none.
Yeah, they've been great at converting off of their steals and blocks tonight. And now a little switch in defensive assignment. All of a sudden, Weaver is now on Brooks. They want to shut him down a little bit. They make this change.
Porter gets past Lowe. Harmeling comes to help. Catron can't handle it. Look at Matthews bat the ball back to his teammate. shooting from three-point land. Overall, 40% for Oregon. That's actually much better. At one point, they were 2 of 11. They're now 7 of 18, so 5 of their last 7 have fallen. But Katron has committed a foul, and he has struggled here tonight.
Well, he was trying to do what they call push the pickup. And you really can't divert somebody, an offensive player who's trying to go someplace, unless you're in front of him. If you're beside him, pushing him, it's a foul, and that's what happened there.
That three-point defense, again, significant because Washington has hit a number of them here tonight. First in the Pac-10, Lowe going to the well and a little bit long. Lowe is 4 out of 6.
And Brooks showed a little bit of defense. Speaking of defense.
In transition, an odd man break. Harmelin can't finish. Weaver skying to the basket, throws it up again off the rebound. Hairston sends Brook up the floor, and Ernie Kent says, not so fast, fellas. I want to call a play with 1:11 remaining in the first half. We're down 3. Sports Ultimate Nightly Highlight Show is here. The only national show gives you nothing but wall-to-wall highlights. The FSN Final Score airs tonight at 10:30 p.m. on FSN. Bob Weiss, Brian Davis at Friel Court in Pullman, where Washington State now shooting 38%. They're 4 of 11 from 3. That's helped them a lot. The other thing, too, they have forced 10 Oregon turnovers. They've only committed 3.
Yeah, they're playing great defense, and big steal there by Weaver. He would have made that tip in if he'd have just tipped it. He tried to get flashy and dunk it, and got it stuck on the rim.
That is the kind of thing that would drive that man crazy. Dick Bennett turned the reins over to his son Tony this season. Dick was very regimented. And, of course, at the University of Wisconsin, too, about the way they played offense. And Brooks into the trees. They call a foul on that. No, out of bounds off of Weaver. But, man, he tried to go into a triple team.
Yeah, and Weaver did a good job of just going up, getting his hands on the ball.
26 to shoot.
You talk about Dick Bennett getting upset about certain plays as a coach. Watching your son out there coaching, you'd get even more upset about it.
Hairston underneath Harmelin. But Michael Eggers, Harmelin looked at him and said, what about that?
I think the outside official was blocked off because it was a clear elbow. He just put it behind the player, wrenched around him, and made the layup. But I think the outside official was the only one who could see it, and he was blocked off.
Well, Michael Eggers said, Lowe catches, shoots, and scores. He is 5 out of 7 from 3. He was 5 out of 7 last week in a rout of Washington. Derek Lowe is on fire. And as we get into the late stages of the first half, it is a 2-possession game. Lowe with the steal. Looking for Matthews on the run out. Count it. It's a 6-point lead for Washington State at the break.
And they're going crazy here. Can you hear this crowd?
11 turnovers for Oregon. 11 points off of turnovers for Washington State. 8 steals. 5 blocks. They'll make that 6. Aaron Brooks and Malik Hairston are a combined 6 of 9 from the floor. The rest of Oregon, 2 of 11. Derek Lowe, 6 of 10. The rest of Washington State, 7 out of 23. You take a look at the big picture here at the break at Friel Court. Before we go to the second half, Bob, give me a key for each side here in the second half.
Well, I think for Washington State, they got to keep doing what they're doing, but they've got to start rebounding. You can't have 9 more rebounds by this strong Oregon team and expect to stay with them. Now, on the Oregon side, they want to get their transition game going. Washington State has been very good at making them run their half-court offense. So I'd say transition game for Oregon.
So we'll see what happens. Again, the winner of this game will be in second place and perhaps by the end of the weekend in first. So there is a lot on the line tonight at Washington State.
Money Saver.
Sellout at Friel Court on the campus of Washington State University, and even the adversaries appreciate the turnabout in the Cougars program as they come in at 17-3, tied with the 18-2 Ducks for second place in the Pac-10. Ernie Kent remembers coming in here with a couple of thousand people in the stands, and he says, what do you even say to your players, Bob, in the locker room to get them up before they come out to play the basketball game?
Well, I think, you know, a crowd like this gets you up. But the problem is you don't want it to get you up too much. And, you know, for some of your players, it's going to work against you. A guy like Brooks, this gets him up. He loves this stuff. But if you don't have a lot of confidence in yourself, then his home crowd can get to you. One thing that I'm sure that Ernie is grateful for is the fact that, unlike the days when George Raveling was coaching this team, and he was playing back at that time, they don't bring the pea shooters anymore and sit in the student section and wing them off the back of your head. Of course, the students are now on the other side with us here at Friel Court. Well, we'd be getting in the back of the head then. I'm glad they discontinued that. Now, Tony Bennett has given his team a lot more creativity, a lot more license to shoot the basketball, and that has helped them the way that they have started the second half of games. Last week against Washington, they had a pretty good lead at the half and started out. This is just off the top of my head, so it's not official, but it will capture the essence. They started out the second half 21-3. Well, I tell you what, that's good coaching, because you go in the locker room, you make adjustments, and you come out. And if what you're doing is, you know, if your players are doing it correctly and you get those kind of leads, it takes the other coach. Now he's got to see what adjustments you've made and get back in the game. In the first half, Oregon State, or rather Oregon, was perfect from the line. In fact, nobody's missed a free throw. The Ducks 8 of 8. The Cougars only got there twice. Low on the technical foul against Kent, buried 2. That's where we are. You're right. So they never got to the line off their offense. Here's Brooks again. Didn't score for the final 4 minutes of the first half. Low. Catching up to Porter, but Tawan Porter knocks one down from 3. Here's a guy who's 29% inside the arc. Had the biggest number of the season, 38 points against Portland State. 10 of those were from 3. Yeah, he's much more comfortable out there. Low loses Porter and scores the 6 3-pointers. Unofficially, that ties a career high. He had 28 points in a game earlier in the season in which he was 6 of 9 beyond the arc. Tonight, he's even better by percentage at 6 of 8. He's been amazing. But we have Weaver guarding Brooks again. It'll be interesting to watch how that comes out. Ivory Clark picking up Bryce Taylor. Clark had foul trouble in the first half. Hairston scoring as he drives on David Harmeling. He gets that shoulder into your chest. He's just going to take it to you. He's either going to get to the hole or he's going to get a foul. Malik Hairston with 8 points on 4 of 5 shooting. He's the Ducks leader, 58% from the floor. Alley-oop to Ivory Clark. Noonan does a nice job of shutting that down. And Clark had to get out of there because he was in that lane a little bit before he received the pass. Lowe's going to drive, skip it out to Weaver. Harmeling from 3. You know, outside of Lowe is 6 of 8. They're 0 for 6. Washington State from 3. Hairston. Neat little move behind the back. Porter going to the well again. Basketball knocked out of bounds by Taylor. And Washington State resets with a 4-point lead. Let's talk about the close game factor. I mentioned that Oregon, it's only lost previous to the game at Washington. Their only conference loss was by 2. Washington
couple of conference losses by 3. Harmeling. What do you think of his shot on that?
You know, he can make those, but he's I thought he was going to make that last one because he's due, you know, but
Hairston's feeling it.
Hairston is feeling it.
He has 11 points. That's his first triple of the night.
Yeah, he's mixing it up. You know, tremendous driver. Then he comes out, pops a 3.
Yeah, it's only the second time or the 22nd time that he's taken a 3-point shot. He's 10 for 22 on the year. Low, left alone. Porter, a little bit late, but it works out all right. Aaron Brooks driving, leaving for Hairston. Got nothing. Going the other way, loose ball foul. Well, in the NBA, that loose ball foul. Over the back in any case. Taylor's foul. That's his second. Derek Lowe across the timeline. In front of Weaver. Lowe with 19 first half points. He's got 22. His career high is 28. Here's Robbie Cowgill. Taylor's done a pretty good job on him defensively. They're trying to find a little bit of space. And now the shot clock is down to 10. Clark is going to drive on Lunan. Weaver from the back door in the jam.
And Clark showing his versatility. He blocks shots, he makes drives, he makes plays. He moves his feet on defense, but not quite good enough that time.
Well, and for Clark, that's his third foul. Let's take a look at the little two-man game that he was playing.
Clock is running out, so you penetrate, you draw somebody to you, bang.
Aspirations. Been watching that little dude all night, and he is a hoot. And he is part of a crowd of nearly 12,000 that is watching Washington State's resurgence. Tonight, they got themselves a contest with the Ducks out of the University of Oregon, a team that has gone to the NCAA tournament 8 times, last in 2003. Washington State to the dance 5 times, last time in 1994. Cougars will be back against the Arizona schools next week, starting at Arizona. 3-point, check that, 3-point loss at UCLA and to Stanford, but defeated Arizona here. Draws the double team. Tawan Porter loses control of the basketball, and Harmeling just does get it back with Taylor charging.
You know, the next time Brooks has that ball, watch how Weaver can be so far off of him because of his length, and he has a great feel of not getting too close to that small man. So he negates the ability of the small man to use his speed against him because he's like 6 feet away from him.
Clark goes down hard. Tawan Porter undercut him. You know, and I guess Porter is 5'6" and Clark is a foot taller, so maybe undercutting is about the best he could do.
You know, he plays so hard. I don't know. He does everything hard. I don't know if I'd want to be at a family-style dinner with him. Trying to get
Porter?
No, with Ivory.
Oh, with Clark.
Clark trying to get rolls and stuff. He's liable to get a broken arm.
Yeah, 2 for 2. And he's a 61% free throw shooter. Makes it a 2-possession game, a 5-point lead. Think about this now.
Let's see how far back Weaver is. He doesn't get right up on it. Whoop, he's a little too far on that one. Nice cut.
Yeah.
Good pass by the big man.
Five minutes into the second half for Oregon to have 37 points. They average 80 a game. And that's testament again to Washington State's defensive prowess. They Their scoring differential, 10 to the good side, is 4th in the Pac-10.
And that was a pass. That was not a shot. But it did hit the rim.
Lunan goes, bounces off of Calgill, nearly the 13th turnover of the night for the Ducks, which is their season average. Lunan going to work, and Calgill gets a piece of another one. 2-on-1 for the Cougars. Clark is called for the charge.
He's got to make that play. The only way that can be stopped is by taking a charge. You get a 2-on-1 with 2 big guys. You got to be watching out for that charge. He tried to jump around him, but right here he's got to make the pass and stop.
He had Calgill trailing, and now Clark has got to sit. He has 4 fouls.
Yeah, that was a big play. Took away 2 points and it puts a good player on the bench.
Great defense by Aaron Brooks, who leads Oregon with 14 points. Brooks and Hairston with 25. Taylor has 6 on 1 of 4 shooting. Lunan is 0 for 6. Has rebounded the basketball well, has 7, but has just missed. Matthews left all alone, can't finish it. 9 rebounds now for the Pac-10's leading rebounder, make it 8. Chamberlain Oguchi leaving for Lunan. He's short. Weaver tries to control, cannot, out of bounds to the Ducks with a fresh 35. Aaron Baines back on the floor, takes David Harmelin's place. It's an interesting game because both teams have been good enough defensively, Bob, that outside of the main men, Lowe, Brooks, Hairston, nobody else has been able to get into a groove offensively.
No, both teams are playing good defense. We've commented a lot about Washington State, but Oregon is playing good defense also. And Lowe's had to get all his points outside the 3-point line.
That was a little bit short. Taylor can't quite get it done. But Taylor is 1 out of 5. Lunan is 0 for 7. And Lowe is fouled as he tries to split the double team. Brooks got him as he started driving inside the painted area.
And, you know, another testament to Oregon's defense. They're not only making you take it from the outside, they are not putting you on the free throw line.
Baines, just like Tony Bennett drew it up.
Yep. Little back pick by Weaver. Big man goes to the bucket. They couldn't get to him. Now you got Brooks back. Lowe is back defending Brooks again.
I'll tell you what, against Washington State, you better spread the floor. You talked about it earlier, Bob. Cougars know just where to help. Somebody needs to get a stick and control that basketball. If you're a Duck, it's out of bounds. That is 13 turns.
Well, I know where I want to spend next week, next year, the first week of training camp. I want to be here because I want to see the drills that Tony Bennett uses for footwork and filling in. These guys they do a great job. Not only of footwork. I mean, it's easy to teach the fill-ins, that kind of stuff. But what is difficult is everybody moves their feet so well to stay in front of their man.
Ray Schaefer had a little trouble with Baines underneath. That's a 7-footer against a 6'10" guy, so that's a great battle. I thought Schaefer did a nice job of forcing Washington to send Spencer Hawes into the low post. They like to set Hawes up on the elbow, but he couldn't do that on Thursday with Schaefer's defense. The problem was that Schaefer had 10 points but did not have a rebound, and again, Washington won that battle by 11, including 9 on the offensive glass. Here tonight, 26-17, Oregon's advantage in rebounds. On the post up, the Australian cannot quite finish. Taylor Richesti picks up Brooks.
Lowe's getting a short rest now. He'll come back. When he comes back, Weaver will probably go out. He never has the both of them out at the same time.
Richesti was just a little bit late, and that's all you need to be for Brooks to be able to hit that shot. He's 3 of 5 beyond the arc, 5 of 8 overall, 17 points. Just 1 and change off his season average, which leads the Pac-10. Schaefer shuts down Richesty. Go back inside. The Cougars turn it over only for the 6th time tonight. Brooks.
And Oregon's taking advantage of Lowe being out of the game and going into a zone. They were in the zone that last time. They're in it again.
Washington State trying to protect a 2-point lead. You see at the bottom of your screen 5. Chris Matthews getting more playing time with the knee injury sustained in the first half by Nikola Koprivica. And Baines catches underneath and scores.
Nice pass, and Baines delivers. Good hands by the big man. Pick and roll. Watch out here.
Gucci cannot shake Matthews, limiting the options that Brooks had to distribute. Schaefer throws it away. And Cougars were waving at their guys coming up the floor. Kyle Weaver was waving at Richesky. Come on, push the pace. Let's go. Matthews. Whoa.
He pushed the pace.
He had a guy, he shot that ball over a guy who's about 5 inches taller than him. A 7-point lead. That ties the Cougars' largest of the night. The 3-ball has been a big part of the weapon. 7-19. Cougars by 7 mid-second half. The sign, you got that right, but for both sides, 40% for Washington State, 39 for Oregon. Kyle Weaver is having himself a night. Weaver,
He's doing a little of everything. He plays defense, he makes shots. And the other thing he's doing, he's got 3 steals and 2 blocks tonight.
not to mention 5 assists and 4 rebounds. 4 of 9. Weaver. Take a look at the Washington State roster. They have players from 7 different states plus the District of Columbia. And in addition to the United States, they have players from 3 different countries. That's pretty good. You know, and that's the kind of recruiting that you have to do if you are Washington State. And you take a look at Weaver, but there are great stories about where they find these guys.
Well, Oregon is a little bit like that, too. They've got guys from all over the country also, but maybe a little more diversified here.
Brooks, Lunan, Hairston, Oguchi, and Taylor on the floor for Oregon. Matthews, Richesty, Baines, Cowgill, and Weaver for Washington State. Malik Hairston is fouled. Count the basket.
That was an almost block by Cowgill, but he gets it right over him. Again, great presence here. Gets that shoulder into your chest and takes it right to the big man. Just enough to knock him off balance.
A 5-point lead, and Malik Hairston has a chance to cut it to 4. Mid-second half, time taken in Pullman. College basketball on FSN is brought to you by Sterling Savings, the perfect fit bag, and by Dodge. Grab life by the horns. This is Pullman. Edward R. Murrow, one of the greatest alumni of Washington State University. Glenn Johnson, following in his traditions. 28 years now he has been the public address announcer here at Washington State. He is truly the mayor of Pullman. That's just not an honorarium, and he is also a professor of communications. And you want to talk about what a great comm school they have here? Our producer, our director, it's Pike Parker, Pat Brown, and our technical director, Todd Johnson. They are all graduates of the Murrow School at Washington State. Pretty good.
They're minding their P's and Q's tonight, too, because they're under scrutiny.
Hairston misses the chance to make it a 3-point play. Porter can't quite corral it. Well, I'll tell you what, Matthews is getting a great chance playing in place of the injured Koprivica, and he's making the most of it.
That was a great steal, too.
I couldn't quite pull off that "this is Pullman" thing, which is the way that Merle opened many of his legendary CBS radio broadcasts during World War II.
I thought you were doing Don Rickles. I didn't get the...
Judy, my wife, says I am terrible at impressions. She says, don't even bother. And Washington State defensively tells Oregon in that moment, don't even bother. 15 turns now for the Ducks.
Oh, Ernie's going to be calling another timeout. He was irate the last timeout.
How about 18 points off of turnovers for Washington State? Largest lead of the night now for the Cougars. Taylor for Porter for 3. Porter 3 of 4, all beyond the arc. He has 9 points.
If you're going to end the streak, a run, that's the way to do it.
Now suddenly he's come to the party. Derek Lowe hasn't scored for a while, and how about Taylor out hopping Baines for the rebound. Porter again for 3. He's short. Lowe gets the rebound. Derek Lowe. That is his first board of the night. He's got 4 assists in addition to the game-high 22 points. Here's Weaver with 6 helpers, 5 boards, 10 points. Nice all-around game. That has been the story of his season. And again, Matthews gets Taylor to leave his feet. Taylor got a little bit of Matthews' arm. I got a little bit of that East Coast attitude as Matthews kind of looked at Taylor and just sort of nodded his head.
Yep. You know, Lowe isn't. I think he's only taken 1 or 2 threes this half. Has not taken many.
No, and it's been a while. We're checking to see the last time Derek Lowe scored. He had a 3-point basket very early in the second half and has not been heard of or heard from since.
And that was the only one he got. He's got 22 now. He had 19 at halftime.
Chris Matthews
is on the first or second play.
Chris Matthews is 2 of 6 now on the season from the free throw line. Matthews 5 of 7 from 2, 10 of 29 from 3. Hit that one big 3 earlier. Splits the difference. Just had trouble penetrating. Hairston along the baseline, stepped out of bounds. And now, you know what? Hairston frustrated and giving the official an earful. Frustrated, down 7, late second. Ryan Davis and Bob Weiss and Pullman warning you not to go to sleep on Malik Hairston. Last year here, 2 3-point shots in the final 12 seconds helped the Ducks beat Washington State tonight. 6 of 8. He's getting inside. One of the few Ducks players to be able to do that. Plus, he'll throw in the odd 3.
Well, he's got, you know, such versatility. You know, hits a 3, and then to be able to drive like that and finish, that's not easy.
Hairston,
good job. No, go ahead.
6 of 8 tonight. He was 4 of 6 at Washington on Thursday night, so he's 10 of 14 these last 2 games. He can be a special guy for Ernie Kent and the Ducks down the stretch.
Yeah, it gives you one more guy to go to.
Derek.
But only 2 players in double figures for Oregon, and in the last 2 minutes, Weaver and Matthews broke into the double figures, but up until then, Lowe was the only one that had double figures.
Ira Clark is on the bench for Washington State with 4 fouls. Cowgill tries to find Baines on the oop, and a hold is called on Hairston outside.
Yeah, they're going for the high-low again. They bring the man up from the weak side, go over the top.
They called it on Catron underneath. My bad.
Yeah, Sean Catron. Yeah, he was guarding Baines.
That's 3 on him. Baines.
Knew his limitations. Smart play.
Got to remember he's throwing that pass to a guy who's about 9 inches shorter than he is. Weaver looking for Matthews, who was running in on the back cut, tipped out of bounds. Cougars retain possession with 26 seconds on the shot clock. Chris Matthews, actually against Oregon, had 9 points and 5 rebounds. And in fact, that tournament game, and there on the inbounds play. Nice find, Weaver with the finish.
That was great execution. That was an extension of the, you remember a little while back they got a layup off of the inbound play. This was the next option right there.
Brooks, bang.
And he's got his own option.
6 points is the margin. Brooks with 20 on the night, 4 of 6 beyond the arc, 6 of 10 overall. He's got a half dozen rebounds. The ball distribution, 18 assists for Washington State and 9 for Oregon. Turnovers, Baines juggled it in the double team. Chamberlain Oguchi drives into the painted area and has his pocket picked. Here's Lowe in transition. Brooks grabs him out on the floor.
And you know, an interesting stat, of the 16, now 17 turnovers by Oregon, 12 of them are steals. You know, normally the ball's just being thrown out of bounds when that, or there's a walk. Now you can get your defense back and get set off of that. But when you have steals, they're running down your throat, and the scoring percentage is always very high.
All of a sudden, 17 fouls. That puts Derek Lowe at the line, 1-1. Bob, the other thing too, we talk about the 9 assists. Well, when you have such active hands, you take the basketball away, it's hard to complete a play. And Washington State, the opponent averages 8 assists a game is all. They really blow up your offense.
Well, and then what they do also is that they clog your offense up, but then they close out very quickly and do a good job that way. They don't give you many catch and shoots. You may be able to put a dribble down and get by them and get one shot up, you know, but that's why there aren't a lot of assists, because the second you put that ball on the floor in college, they take that away from you. In the pros, they might give you one dribble and a shot.
Porter, the 5'6" guy. Wow, what a nice drive to the basket. Good dribble penetration and a finish.
Persistence pays off.
Yeah.
He tried it about 4 times before he finally got in there.
Juwan Porter doesn't like to shoot the 2-point shot. He's 4 of 6, 11 points as he becomes the 3rd Duck in double figures. Washington State with 3 as well, led by Derek Lowe's game-high 22 points. He has not scored since 45 seconds in the second half, but he has had help. And Chris Matthews knocks down another 3. Matthews with 13 points. Brooks earns himself a trip to the free throw line. Matthews, 13 points, a career high.
Remember Wally Pipp?
Yeah, in a very meaningful game. Yeah, Weaver, you can see on that replay that Weaver,
he came down. He had him in jail, let him shoot it over the top.
Single-handedly, Aaron Brooks is trying to will the Ducks back into the game in a very atypical miss by an 87% free throw shooter. Yeah, Washington State is trying to win consecutive games as a ranked team for the first time in better than 50 years. When they defeated Oregon State the other night, they won at home as a ranked team for the first time since 1950. When Harry Truman was president and the minimum wage was 75 cents and a gallon of milk was 82 cents, and this will make you weep, a gallon of gasoline was 27 cents.
Yeah, but look at the minimum wage.
Dick Bennett
75 cents.
Dick Bennett was in the first grade, and no +1 situation, but 2 free throws. As now, Dick Bennett was a first grader at Resurrection Elementary School in Pittsburgh. There with his wife, Ann.
Well, I was 8, I think, at the time. I was doing my 2nd year in first grade.
I was still a gleam in my daddy's eye. Here, the longer we go in this racket, the less opportunity I have to say stuff like that, so I might as well cash in while I can. Lowe, 5 points now from his career high of 28. 4 points from his career high of 28. And Washington State with an 8-point lead, and inside 5 minutes, Chris Matthews out of Washington, D.C. Again, played in a very good league, the Beltway League in the Washington-Baltimore area. What a night he's having, a career-high 13 points.
Yeah, he's feeling it. And he's taking that shot like he wants it. Here he is on the break. Finishes a little layup. But the 3-ball is what's big for him tonight. He hasn't been shooting it that well, but tonight he's getting nothing but net.
They are starting to deploy the ushers here at Friel Court because we might be in storm the floor territory.
Yeah. And what Washington State has to watch out for now, they may go, Ernie Kemp may tell his players, watch him set up somebody, either, one of these guards for a 3, a sleeper 3 here. There he goes.
Not quite. The rebound for Baines. That's a big one. Lowe, Baines, Cowgill, Matthews, and Weaver for Washington State. Taylor out on the ball handler. And Porter, Lunan, Hairston, and Brooks for Oregon.
They will take a shot if they get it, but they want it. They're not afraid to run this clock down.
The drive, it was hardly a kick, but it was something like a driving kick, and Baines can't finish it.
Yeah, that was probably not the shot you wanted. I think there was time enough.
Oh, but at the other end, he
came
gets it
back and earned it back.
7 blocks for the Cougars. Weaver going to shoot it and go to the free throw line.
Weaver's so smart. He's coming down. He saw those big men just gliding. So instead of using the clock, he figured he could get into the hoop. He did it.
Weaver, 6 of 11, 7 assists, 6 rebounds. Washington State, 7 of 9 here in the second half, make it 7 of 10. They did not get to the free throw line in the first half. Now at halftime, Oregon on charity was 8 of 8, but here in the second half they are only 1 of 3. Oh, check that. Washington State got a pair of free throws in the first half on the tee on Ernie Kent. Oregon is just not getting any luck at the rim.
Weaver's trying to say he jumped into me. Well, he did a little bit, but when you're moving, that offensive player can make that kind of a contact, and almost all the time he will go to the line.
Big Aaron Baines also stepping up to the Cougars late in Pullman. 92 on hand here in Pullman. Washington State bidding for second place in the Pac-10, breaking a tie with Oregon. This year's Washington State team finding a lot of people at George Raveling's 1983 team. Wasu played a tough game against Oregon that year. Ricky Brown led the Cougars with 13 points, but hey, that team also featured our buddy Craig Elo. Had a pretty good career in the NBA. Oregon led by 10 from another future NBA standout Blair Rasmussen. Washington State trailed by 1 late. Mike Worm had the putback. Washington State held on to win by 3. The Cougars went to the NCAA tournament. Bob, 15 games. Look at the bottom line there. 15 games by 4 or less. The Cougars won 11 of those.
That's clutch play. It means you got a smart team. You got guys. The coach is doing a good job.
By the way, I got to apologize. We were talking about our Murrow School graduates, the aces in the truck, and I called our technical director, Todd Gordon, by the wrong name. Of course, it's the longest time before I ever learned his name. I just had gotten to know him as Speedy. Maybe we better just leave well enough alone. Brooks now 7 of 8 on Charity, 23 points. 1 point behind the game leader, Derek Lowe, who makes that pass to Weaver and gets it back as Oregon brings some pressure, and the clock is starting to work in Washington State's favor.
Yeah, they were putting on their delay trap there to delay the game.
Wow. See now, Ivory Clark, as we made it, that's the guy you want to foul. He's
right.
a 61% free throw
That's
shooter,
right.
although he is 2 of 2 tonight. You're playing the percentages there, and you're doing it with the clock stopped. Weaver is back now, playing with 4 fouls. Washington State a little bit longer right now, Bob, with 3 big guys. Calgill, Baines.
Yeah, they're going with the. He may go offense defense here, and if they're going to keep fouling, he'll probably put another small man in there that can shoot free throws.
Rebounds, 30 for Oregon, 22.
But in the second half, even, and that's what we talked about, that they would not be able to allow them 9 more rebounds and stay with them, but they haven't. It's been even in the second half.
You know what, Coach? Actually, a little bit. Great point, because now the Cougars have 12 in the half to 10 for Oregon. That's a great point.
Yeah, and you know, no free throws except the technicals in the first half. Second half, they have 9 free throws to 3 by Oregon.
Washington State has a foul to give. They have 5 team fouls. Oregon already over the limit for the super bonus. They're at 10, so every common foul, Washington State shoots 2. Marty Lunin to inbound the basketball, not having his best night from the floor, 0 for 7. Although he does have a game-high 8 rebounds. And the officials, Michael Eggers and Bob Staffen, talking it over as Ernie Kent runs something past his assistant, Mark Hudson.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Brooks tries to take over here. You know, gets some pick and roll, tries to take some of those threes. He got a clean look last time, didn't make it. Here it is again.
Weaver is picked up in a little trouble. Hairston, Baines with the block, and then the foul underneath. And Malik Hairston took one for the team, and I think Weaver is done.
That would hit the bottom of the rim.
Clark would be done.
And then Clark comes in.
And Clark is done. Ivory Clark fouls out of the basketball game. Did not get a chance to shoot it from the field tonight. 3 or 4 from the line, 3 rebounds.
And you know, Brooks was shaking his head, throwing his fist down when he missed that 3 so badly. And Ernie Kent's calling him over. He just told him, keep shooting that. You're gonna hit him. Don't worry about it. It's just 1 shot. So showed a lot of confidence, and you know, trying to keep the confidence up in his player.
Of course, we get the second half of the Pac-10 season. Baseball season is on the way. FSN getting you ready for the upcoming Mariners campaign. Tune in Monday for a special edition of Mariners All Access, followed by Mariners Mondays, featuring this week's favorite game from last season, Mariners All Access and Mariners Mondays, starting Tuesday. Just kidding, Monday at 6:30 on FSN. FanFest continues tomorrow at Safeco Field. Here's Taylor. We'll go to the free throw line for a 3-point play. Count the basket, and Bryce Taylor now makes his first field goal of the night. Check it. Second, 2 out of 8 on the night for Tayller. Timing is everything.
Look how few white shirts you see. That's because they know that the 3-ball can hurt them right now. All of a sudden, that hurts your penetration defense because you're afraid to leave guys on the perimeter. In the beginning of the game, there would have been 5 white shirts in that red area.
And now it's a 5-point game. Brooks and Taylor trapping low. Time taken. Somebody on the bench hollered timeout as Lowe found himself in trouble along the sideline.
Yeah, and Lowe might have called timeout too. I couldn't see, but the official that was right on the play made the call. So I think maybe Lowe made that call.
So the gamble kind of paid off when Hairston fouled Ivory Clark, and Clark split the dip on a couple of free throws, and then Oregon came back and now has made a couple of baskets here. For them, consecutive baskets is a big deal because tonight the Ducks, in the face of that Washington State defense, have shot 42%, 44 for the Cougars.
Right, and they took a chance, and you know, if you'd have missed them both, they would have kept up with that strategy. But now they're within 5 points. I think they'll just play defense. I doubt that they will take an intentional foul now.
Oregon trying to preserve an 11-game winning streak over Washington State. Inside 3 minutes for regulation. Matthews guarded by Porter. The alley-oop to Weaver. Hairston did a nice job of shutting it down. Shot clock is running down. Lunin with a big play. Baines!
That hit the rim, didn't it?
Well, I think the question was the previous shot had not. I think the shot clock should have expired.
And that's what they're saying.
That's a good call and a great catch by the officials. Eggers, Staffen, and Jim Geron.
Yeah, I didn't see the clock change over, so I didn't realize they changed it. Write this date down. You were right.
For once. Brooks, tough shot. Out to Oregon. Great hustle on the glass by the Ducks. Bryce Taylor. We'll go to the other side of the floor now and set it up. Still a 2-possession game. Oregon 8 of 19 from 3. Brooks has 4 of those, and Porter 3 of the others.
And Calgill can't leave Hairston alone. And again, you go back to when Taylor drove, got the 3-point.
Brooks fights off the bump. Hairston, good rotation. Taylor shoots an air ball from 3, but look at Porter. Come get it. Now the shot clock is down to single digits. Remember, doesn't reset on that. Got to hit iron. Oh, Brooks. Oh, my goodness. What a shot by Aaron Brooks to turn this to a 2-point basketball game. That shot was from Mars.
Tell me the basketball guys don't have a sense of humor. He takes a bad shot from 8 feet behind the 3-point line and banks it in, where he missed 2 good looks prior to that.
Brooks with 26 points. Had 31 against USC.
I want to take this back. It was not a bad shot because the clock was running down, but it was a difficult shot.
You know, the other day in Seattle, I was walking up by the stands, and he was on the sidelines about halfway up the floor, halfway to midcourt, and he had just missed a shot really badly and got the ball back from a teammate, looked at me. Standing over there by the seats, he's almost in the first row, and he says, backboard, turns around, fires it.
Well, that one from the front was not a call.
Wow.
That changes this game, doesn't it?
Oh, just a little bit. Now the pressure is on the Cougars to get something done offensively. Oregon has done a great job. But response.
Great play by Brooks right there. And that was a set play they ran to get open for that 3. That was nice execution.
A career-high 7 3-pointers. 8 of 15, 27 points for Derek Lowe. Baines way out high on the short guy. Here's Brooks into the corner. Hairston. Good kick out. Porter. Another 3 ball. Got it. Tawan Porter is, I mean, it's almost a dead solid lock to shoot the 3 ball instead of stepping inside the arc. And between him and Brooks, all of a sudden, and the Ducks are right in position to come back and steal another one here.
Yeah, and here we're back to where Brooks, watch the clock. It's down to 3 seconds, so he had no choice. He had to pull that trigger.
That would be your Red Lobster shot of the game, but we have an encore presentation here as Tawan Porter drains another one.
You know, you can see why this club wins a lot of close ball games. They do not give up, and they're hitting the big shots.
Their 12-point loss at Seattle broke a string of 7 games that had been decided by 8 or fewer, and they were 6-1 of those games. Last year, close games, 7 or fewer was the measure. Then they were 1-9. So we talk about veteran experience. Bob, this is the kind of thing that, you know, when you got guys that stick around, this is where you see the payoff.
Yeah, you see the confidence, you see the experience. They've been there before. It's not new to them. And this team has just so many guys that can do it for you out there. You know, they have 3-4 guys on the floor right now. Well, actually, they have 5 that will take that three-point ball and have a great chance of making it.
Washington State, on the other hand, when you take a look, just in Pac-10 play, games decided by 3 or 4 points. They're 2-2, so not awful. They've been here before. Came back and defeated then number 7 Arizona in overtime. Then at Stanford, went to overtime and lost that one by 3. That was their last loss before the victories over Washington and Oregon State. Now what do you do?
Well, we'll see what they got cooked up here. Last time they ran a 1-screen, 2-screen deal.
Matthews. Got to be a career high in minutes for him as well.
Now I thought they'd clear out there and let Lowe drive against the big man.
Now they switch. Lunin picks up Weaver. They go for Cowgill to the basket. Loses control of it. Controlled by Oguchi.
From my angle, I thought he got his arm, but evidently not.
I have to say that Washington State, their bigs have been a little bit scrambly in the low post here in the second half. Foul or no in that last moment. Again, Brooks's big shots. This is a guy who has 4 times been the hero against UCLA at Mac Court, the top-ranked team in the country. That's the game winner with 14 seconds remaining. And then at Arizona, Brooks again says, I'm going to take this. Might have called backboard there, and those are 2 of the 4 games that he has either won or sealed down the stretch. Never, ever count out the Oregon Ducks when number 0 is on the floor.
Well, he can do it so many ways. He can hit the 3, he can drive it and kick it to somebody else. He can drive, get fouled, and it's going to be an interesting 25 seconds here.
Washington State led by 9. As we got around the 5-minute mark of the second half. The 3 ball has been huge for Oregon. The Ducks have knocked down 10 of 22. And now it's time for Washington State's defense to find an answer.
They're going to run the clock down a little bit.
Shot clock is off.
That's only going to give him 1 shot.
Just like the Arizona play that we just saw. Same way, Taylor into a triple team. The rebound to Lunin goes up and is fouled as time expires.
I think he's going to get to shoot the free throws.
My goodness. Baines is called for the foul. Lunin is 0 for the night, 0 for 7 from the floor, 0 for 2 from 3, hasn't been to the free throw line. Now they're taking a look here. Had time expired? No, it had not. Very clearly 0.4 of a second when he starts to go up. Take another look.
And it was a foul. Baines reached in a little bit. A lot of students here don't agree with me, but watch how his arm goes over his body. See, he's reaching down, not straight up. Now he's going to keep his arm straight up and say, this is where it was. That's a hard impulse to overcome.
Marty Lunin is a 76% free throw shooter. And they're still taking a look, and now as the officials look at the scorer's table, they nod in agreement. Yes, that was a foul. Lunin will shoot 2. Michael Eggers, the crew chief. We're going to look at it one more time as Lunin, the junior from Redmond, Oregon, contemplates a huge moment. 0.5 of a second remaining now as they put 0.5 back on the clock. Half a second.
Oregon players are locking their arms over there on the bench.
This is not the ball game because a tip miss could also do it. Oregon is one free throw away from erasing a 9-point lead to force overtime.
And this is a smart move right here. Taking a timeout, he is icing the shooter. It's a whole different ball game to stand up there, shoot one, get it back. You got the feel, you take another shot. You call a timeout, now you got to walk over there, you got to wait to go back to the line. It gives you time to think about it. I really think that drops your percentage chances of making the second free throw.
Washington State at one point was doing a terrific job of distributing the basketball, but their ability to move after Oregon made a couple of defensive adjustments, they started putting some longer guys on the Cougars' ball handlers. That has had an effect. Washington State has not shot the ball quite so well, and again, there have been a couple of big moments here in the final 5 or 6 minutes of the basketball game in which their big guys have not been able to handle the ball well when passed it in the low post.
Yeah.
This
couple bobbles
may be the biggest free throw of Marty Lunin's life. Down and a half second remaining. You cannot do a whole lot more than catch and shoot with a half second remaining.
No.
They'll set it up. Hairston will pressure Matthews on the inbounds. Intercepted by Lunin, who throws it back up as time expires, and we will go to overtime. Marty Lunin shut out until he was fouled with a half second remaining in regulation. He drains 2 free throws for his only points of the night. And the Ducks erase a 9-point lead to force extra time here at Friel Court.
He'll remember those 2 points the rest of his life, though. Big shots, a lot of pressure. Great job by Lunin.
Oregon has been to overtime once this season. That turned into a victory over Rice. Washington State has been to overtime now 3 times in its last 6 games. In the first 2, they split. 1 here against Arizona and lost at Stanford. Oregon has defeated Washington State 11 straight times. Washington State has won all 9 of its games on this floor this season.
Okay, Washington State's got to get their heads up. It's always tough when you're the one that blows that lead and you come into an overtime.
This is Oregon's largest comeback in the second half of the season. They have come back twice to win games when they were down 11 in the first half. And the Ducks will get first crack at the basket here in the extra. Brooks, ball in his hands, 26 points, drives to the basket and scores. Weaving through heavy and taller traffic, goes to the left hand to lay it in.
That was a nice drive. He had his pick on the right side. He beat his man away from the pick. Whenever you do that, there's no big to help.
Derek Lowe stops and misses from the elbow. Nearly had the rebound. It was tipped away from him, and now Brooks again.
And I'm going to give the edge to Oregon in this overtime. I think Washington State's played a great game the whole way through, but just the way they came back, tied this, I think they got the momentum on their side.
Marty Lunen's first field goal of the night from 3. Weaver. Well, Oregon is just missing. And again, Weaver with a little trouble, and that's a tough post up on Lunen. Matthews is long. And the Ducks with another rebound, asserting themselves on the glass.
And they've really got the confidence factor going now.
The Cougars' offense has gone as dry as an Eastern Washington well. As Porter knocks down another 3, rattles it in. And they have scored the first 8 points of overtime. Not many Ducks faithful in the house, but they have been well rewarded.
Their players are very excited. Ernie's out there yelling, "It's not over. It's not over."
Counting the end of regulation, the Ducks are on a 12-point run. 3:50 left in regulation. Washington State led by 9 at 60-51.
And there you saw the pick was on the right side. He goes away from the pick, gets all the way to the paint. He still wasn't home. Had to make a good one. There we go with Lunen's 3. Here comes Porter. He wants to get in on the act too. And they're pumped right now. Their coach was trying to calm him down. Ernie Kent said, "Hey, it's not over. Don't get too excited. We got 3 minutes left."
One thing that has really helped here, though, is that this onslaught has taken this very vocal Washington State crowd out of the game.
Yeah, it's not too noisy in here right now. It can get noisy again real quick, though.
Ivory Clark.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
the pass intercepted. Great read by Brooks. Knew what was coming. Score it. Aaron Brooks with 30 points in this game. He's 1 off his season high and 4 off his career high. And boy, I don't know if that was a dagger, but they might have inserted the sharp end right there.
Yeah.
In Washington State's ribcage. A 10-point lead for Oregon. What a great comeback by the Ducks. Bryce Taylor reaches in and fouls Derek Lowe.
That's 5 on Bryce Taylor.
Taylor is done for the night. Over the last 9 minutes, the Ducks have outscored the Cougars 23-4.
Oof. Yeah, and you can just see it on their faces. It seemed like the air went out of them when they had to go into the overtime.
2 things. Clark, right there with the towel over his head, fouled out of the game. He picked up 3 early in the first half and just never did find his rhythm. The other thing, give credit to Chris Matthews for coming in and playing in place of Nikola Koprivica, who has been part of the Cougars' energy equation. Matthews with 13 points, but without your big guys, without your long players like Clark, against a team like Oregon, that's a tough night.
Yeah, you can make one, you can lose one, but when you lose both of those guys, it really hurts you, and especially Clark, because he blocks shots, he rebounds, he's a multifaceted player. And to get it was just a running into a guy out of control type of foul. You hate to see it to lose him in that manner.
And when it goes bad, it goes bad. Lowe manages the second to tie his career high of 28 points. But the Ducks have the 9-point lead and the ball with 2.5 minutes remaining in overtime.
Now they're going to play the clock game.
And why not? Chamberlain Oguchi has not scored tonight, but he has helped settle the Ducks in terms of their movement of the basketball. And now they're a little bit shorter and quicker on the floor as Weaver triggers the three, misses Lunin with his 9th rebound of the night. They have 4 players with at least 6, including Aaron Brooks with 8 to go along with his 30 points.
Yeah, they had a lot of guys step up in the second half. And actually, it was the last 8 minutes of the second half.
Porter puts it on the floor, rattles it off. Long Weaver's rebound, but Washington State has got to hurry, and I mean hurry.
Yeah, Porter was out of his range there. It wasn't a 3.
Hairston is called for the foul outside the arc.
Foul on Malik Hairston.
Second foul on Hairston. Let's take a look.
Yeah. You sure don't want to try and block this. Just play.
Now, we've talked about Marty Lunin's problems from the floor. David Harmeling had 20 points against Gonzaga, 28 against Arizona. And tonight, Harmeling, who is a 3-point threat and a 49% shooter, 1 of 6 from the floor, including 0 for 4 beyond the arc.
But I think Lowe made up for that. So,
well, and Lowe now with a career high at 29 points, give him 30. But what a tremendous battle between these two guys, Lowe and Brooks, the 2 point guards for these teams, stepping up and scoring the basketball. Eight of 16 from the floor, 7 of 11, a career high from 3, 8 of 10 from
down
beyond
6.
the arc. 2-possession game. And Bob Staffen, one of the officials, calls time, says my time.
Did the clock not move?
That's what we want to check. Yeah, they're going to check. They're going to check the shot clock. Okay.
Yeah, they put it down to 27 on the shot clock.
It takes 5 away. It was 32, I think.
Yeah.
They reset it, right,
Yeah.
Bob? Hey. Right twice tonight. Which puts me 1 ahead of a stop clock. Which is right twice a day. Of course, that's an analog joke.
Yes.
Down to the final minute of overtime. 2-possession basketball game. 2-possession if you're hitting a 3-point shot, and Aaron Brooks has got the luxury.
And they didn't foul here. The theory is if we get 1 stop, oh, that kills you.
Big offensive rebound and a putback for Oguchi, and I think that is just about it.
Yeah, what they were trying to do is get 1 stop, and then if you hit a 3, now you're only down 3, then you can start fouling.
Now Lowe knocks down his 8th 3-point shot of the game, 34 points, and Tony Bennett said he traveled, but that's not going to be the call from Michael Eggers. And is that the 10th team foul? Weaver's foul. Don't forget, we'll have FSN Live after the game here. It's been a barn burner at Friel Court.
Tony Bennett was arguing that, hey, we were not taking a foul intentionally. Our guys' hands were up. We're going for the steal. But he's still going to shoot the free throw.
It's interesting here tonight. We talked about Tawan Porter having 38 in a non-conference game. That is the biggest number of the season in the Pac-10. Tonight you've got Lowe with 34 and Brooks with 31 and another free throw coming.
And he kind of hurt himself when he shot that free throw. You know, the only thing he could probably do is that I think he's got a cramp. You see him limping there.
Yeah, it's sure what it looks like, huh?
Well, you know, it's hard to sprain an ankle shooting a free throw, so I can't think it's anything other than a cramp.
Lowe. Lunin with a 10th rebound of the night. And now the Cougars are forced to foul. Lunin looks like he got poked maybe on the way up or down. Cowgill's foul. And Marty Lunin, who really, well, I'll tell you what, tonight it's been weird. They've had guys, Brooks will be the headliner for the numbers that he's had, but Hairston shot the ball strong. Tawan Porter with 3-pointers in the second half, but Marty Lunin fouled underneath the basket and made 2 free throws with a half-second left in overtime, or in regulation, to force overtime. And there he misses both of them. The Cougars fans are going, why couldn't he do that in regulation? Lowe triggering for 3. He's got 9. And 37 points in timeout. With a 3-point margin, 18.1 remaining.
Here he is, crosses over. Bang.
He's just out of his mind. Out of his mind.
And it's one against 3. He only had 3 defenders on him. He still gets it and makes it.
7 points in overtime.
Now again, they've got a decision to make here. Can we go for a steal first and see if we don't get it, then take the foul, or do we want to go ahead and get the foul right away? We'll see what they do.
Derek Lowe has 37 points. He is 8 shy of the Cougars' single-game scoring record set by Brian Quinnett against Loyola Marymount in December of 1986. Lowe has scored 7, as I mentioned, 7 of Washington State's points here in the extra, and he has really carried them. Oregon scored the first 8 points of overtime. Won a 12-point run, scored 23-4. The last 5 minutes of the basketball game, last 5 minutes of regulation and into overtime. Lowe has done what he could to stop the bleeding there. Lowe also with 5 steals, which is a career high. Brooks looking for Lunin on the run out. Gets a step on Lowe. Knocks the ball away. His 6th steal. Weaver triggering the 3. He's short. Lowe is going to have a chance to get it back. He fires it up and he's short. Out of bounds to Oregon. With 5.2 remaining. Goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. What a finish here in Pullman.
And unfortunately, there was enough time to pass that ball. Great steal. And a good non-call. So many guys would have thought, hey, they're going to take a foul. So right here, you kind of lose track of how much time's left. He really had Kyle open in the corner again.
Weaver 0 for 3 beyond the arc. Also on the near side to us. On his far side, he had Matthews running down the wing, calling for the ball as well. Matthews has hit a couple of threes, but 2 of 5. So, and he came into the game 9 of 28 on the season. So, pick your poison. And Porter.
Jump ball. They got the arrow. You know, if they'd have written this script for Hollywood, nobody'd believe it.
Truth is stranger than fiction. Now Derek Lowe has tied the Washington State record with 9 3-pointers.
And I think we're all out of timeouts here, so.
Weaver inbounds low, spinning and missing long. Cowgirls rebound too late. Oregon with a tremendous rally. And the fans are not happy in Pullman. But you have got to give credit to the Ducks, who scored the first 8 points of overtime and held off a spirited effort down the stretch by Washington State. The Ducks with a 3-point victory and sole possession of second place, the Pac-10. More coming on FSN Live from Pullman. In Pullman. I don't know if you call them the comeback kids, you call them the cardiac kids. I'm not sure exactly what moniker you would attach to the Oregon Ducks, but tonight, Bob Weiss, you call them winners in a thrilling overtime victory. What a contest by both sides here at Washington State.
I know. I hated to see this game end. You hate to see either team lose. They both did tremendous jobs, made big plays. Oregon made the last one, so.
I'll tell you what, Lowe with the steal, the chance to set up a 3-point shot, and then they win the held ball. Lowe gets the last shot, tied the school record with 9 beyond the arc. Calgill actually made the shot, but about a second and a half after time had expired. And, you know, you take a look at experience, and both these teams showed experience tonight. But the Ducks tonight, the advantage, Bobby, in winning close basketball games. This is their 8th Pac-10 game that has been decided by 8 or fewer.
Well, and they hit such big shots. It wasn't like they, you know, I don't think Washington gave them the game. They made maybe a mistake here or there coming down the stretch. But Oregon just put the pressure on and played great basketball and earned this one.
Lowe and Aaron Brooks both over 30 points, and it was really Brooks who keyed the comeback. Really did it beyond the 3-point arc. He hit one that was from, you know, halfway to Spokane and spinning inside 2, getting the job done in the paint. This is a guy who has turned into a terrific player when it was not really certain what role he would have, maybe whether he even would come back for the Ducks this season, but they're sure glad he did.
Oh, you know, he's having an outstanding season, and I mean, this kid's going to be, you know, being looked at by the NBA the way he's playing now.
Derek Lowe put Washington State in position with a 19-point first half, and then was very quiet. Hit a 3 in the first minute of the second half, then came charging on at both ends of the floor late. Can you ask anything more from a guy like that?
No, I mean, there were so many guys that did everything that was asked of them, and like I said, I hate to see anybody lose this basketball game.
We come back on FSN Live to Pullman. We will have conversation with the combatants, players, and coaches, but right now we will continue on FSN Live. Wow, what a day in the Pac-10. And for more on that and everything else in the world of sports in the Northwest, we send it back to our FSN Live studios, where Cameron Wong and Matt Morrison stand by.
Well, we thank you very much.